listening to the 23 Personnel Podcast, a Texas Tech athletics podcast where food and sports clash at the goal line. Here are your hosts, Spencer and Michael.
All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the 23 Personnel Podcast. I am your host, Spencer, joined by Michael. Michael, what's up, man?
Hey, you got your green on today?
My what?
Your green.
There is a little bit of green in this multi-cam short sleeve hoodie.
It's like desert camo. I don't know. I don't know how much green's in there.
No, this is multi-cam. There's some olive in here.
Okay.
You gotta get
That
down
is-
here.
That is a shade of green. Easy, big fella.
Settle. I was wearing a little bit more green earlier, but came home, changed out of my work clothes, and had to maintain some level of green.
There you go.
How's your St. Patty's Day going, man?
Oh, it's great. It's great. Just living the dream, you know. Reported to the office and was not pinched at all once today.
Was your dinner green?
It was not. It was
Do you have corned beef and cabbage?
no, we do that quite a bit. My as a nod to my wife's family grew up eating that on occasion, just here and there, and so we do quite a bit. But I think we're a little bit busy this week, and by we, I mean her. I'm not going to be the one making the corned beef and cabbage. That's she does the majority of the cooking here, and she's very, very good at it. So I'm not even going to pretend like, oh yeah, no. I don't think she's going to be able to get to it this year, but a lot of times she does. Yeah. So, and she's also been known to go to the store a few days later and pick up a corned beef on sale. It doesn't have to be the day of.
Yeah. We have traditionally done like a loaf of Irish soda bread and then been a little bit heavy-handed with some green food coloring in the rest of our dishes just to make fun, just to have some fun, excuse me. I think last year we put a little bit of green food coloring in our shells and cheese.
Oh,
We had
wow.
green shells and cheese. We've done green mashed potatoes and gravy before. It's typically just a meal centered around like chicken strips, mashed potatoes, and mac and cheese, and then we kind of alternate what thing gets turned green that year.
Didn't they used to
last
make
year.
green ketchup?
Hmm?
Yeah.
It was wild
I've
because it
seen
tasted
that.
like regular ketchup. But anyways, we have a basketball tournament to talk about. Actually, I guess we have two. Big 12 tournament, and then March Madness, the NCAA tournament. I mean, I don't know how much about the Big 12 tournament you want to talk about, but Texas Tech did appear
Briefly.
and made their exit. We have the NCAA tournament matchups, the seedings. Your first round opponent this Friday morning. Michael's trying to rage bait me here, talking about wants to get my thoughts on the geography of the Midwest bracket being held in Tampa. Well, we'll get to that. Makes no sense. But we'll talk about the rest of the Big 12 and the bracket. I'm not going to go through like game by game and preview each of the 32, I guess 34 first round or play-in games. There's two going on or have gone on by the time you listen to this. Man, it sure would suck if our man D5 just didn't even make it out of the first four play-in.
Well, here's the rub
for him. It really
Here's the
suck
rub
for
with
him.
that. That means Texas wins. So which could you live with better?
I can live with Texas winning.
Really?
Okay, but think about this. the University of Texas Longhorns playing in a first four game
I do appreciate that. I really enjoyed that.
or last four, whatever they want to call themselves. That first round. Now it's not for a 16 seed. That would have been. They reserved those for the mid majors, but playing
Yeah,
in
like
the
Howard
play-in
and
game.
UBC.
Yeah, UMBC. Yeah.
Howard did win tonight, so they will move on to the round
They
of
faced Michigan.
the round of 64. So good for them. And then right now it is 36 seconds left in the half. Texas is up 30-29. And I will tell you what commentary I got to hear of Charles Barkley and Dick Vitale has been interesting, to say the least. In just the few minutes I got to watch before we hit record.
I got
in that time, Charles Barkley called the NCAA boneheads for not addressing the transfer portal situation and other things. And I think that he and Vitale got Caleb Williams, the football player, confused with a similarly named basketball player. They just kept calling him Caleb Williams. I think it was Wilson is who they meant.
Mm.
And they just kind of went on a rant about transfer portal and whatnot. And the poor play-by-play guy just kind of had to sit there and take it for a while, then finally chime in when someone scored a bucket. It's just excellent television.
I'm trying to decide if I would like that more than Fran Fraschilla.
You are a hater of Fran. I like Fran.
He's a hater of us.
He is not.
Literally could
not
take anything positive for Texas. How was a defensive lapse by BYU there?
He's a Big 12 ambassador. Mentions Evie Mays every chance he gets.
Probably calls it Evie Maz.
He knows. He knows.
Talks about the smoked chicken quarter. It's fantastic. Miss me with all that. I've never heard him talk about Evie Mays, but also have the Lady Raiders tournament and stickball, softball and baseball. Michael, you asked a question about attendance. The baseball attendance did actually outpace them, but it was a 3-1 capacity. So we couldn't count like absolute value. Like, okay, we had 10,000 people. Air quotes here. I'm not sure that's accurate. 10,000 people supposedly show up and get counted for baseball, but almost 4,000 for softball. And I did some, attendance percentage. But there was some weirdness going on with how it was recorded for softball because of the
doubleheader
games 2 and 3. I think makes most sense. They combined those because they didn't give a game 2 attendance. They gave a game 3 attendance, and game 3 said they had more than 2,100 people there. Well, the capacity is 1,200. I assume that was for games 2 and 3. They just combined it. But at 3,880 people attending the 3 games, that puts softball attendance at almost 108% of capacity. Of stated capacity. The latest capacity I could find was 1,200. So 3 games would have been 3,600. They got almost 39. Whereas baseball, 10,200, if that was accurate, would be just over 77%.
I never believe these numbers are accurate because every time I watch the games, there are so many empty seats behind home plate.
Well, here's a problem with that though. At least for baseball, I don't know about softball. The facilities there, I've not attended a game. I know those seats that are most visible in baseball also have access to the club level. And so for day games, when they're like baking, those seats may be empty, but those butts may be in the facility. I did see my former boss sitting in her seat this weekend. I was like, there you go.
Yeah.
I can appreciate that.
I know where that seat is. I believe.
Well, we haven't sat there. We sat in the Covenant corporate seats. She had her own
Okay.
private seats. They were
Ah,
in the shot of home plate
so like a
in the
legit
broadcast
fan.
angle.
She's got her own.
She and her husband had
That's
season
cool.
tickets for forever. And I would go to a lot of Tech baseball games because of our corporate sponsorship. We got tickets, season tickets as part of that package.
Well, I know we're not going to jump into baseball, but I do feel like I should give a scoring update since we're here. Dallas Baptist is currently up 11-9, but we are in the top of the 7th.
Sorry, I was celebrating because I thought you were going to give us a World Baseball Classic update where the United States has tied it 2-2 in the 8th. Let's go,
Man,
boys.
so much baseball going on.
Stars and stripes forever. Little John Philip Sousa. Just kidding. That's not it at all. Okay.
No, I was trying to think of what it was, and that was not it. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay. Let's do basketball before we bounce back and forth anymore. Okay, so first, AP announced their All-American team. JT Toppin, our man, first team All-American. He is the first ever Texas Tech Redditor to be a first team All-American AP player. He was second team All-American last year, which is quite the honor because he's missed the last month of the season. Still, the resume spoke for itself. Got him on the first team. The other four guys, like I tell you, these guys are like, yeah, absolutely. Like, there's no questions on any of these guys. Cameron Boozer from Duke, AJ DeBanza, Darius Acuff from Arkansas, and Yaxel Lindenborg from Michigan.
That's a pretty good lineup there. I wouldn't mind watching them play some basketball together.
Mm-hmm. That five could do some damage because you've got. I mean, I guess you have a guard,
right?
You got Boozer.
Someone's got to bring the ball down.
And you got four bigs that could just wreak havoc across the rest of the court. Other names of note: Christian Anderson named AP All-American third team. So
some good company to be in. I just can't believe. I don't know why I thought this, but I just assumed incorrectly, obviously, that Texas Tech would have had an All-American first team at some point. I think I've seen the All-Americans brought up here and there, but I may not have registered that they weren't first team. So that is really something special, that just another thing that Toppin was able to accomplish this year.
Yeah, unbelievable season and still ongoing. I mean, sorry, not ongoing for him, for Texas Tech and also for Christian Anderson, but there were some rankings updates following the conference tournament. Not every publication, not every ranking service made updates. Texas Tech lost in the first round. Had a very tough matchup with Iowa State.
I did enjoy every time I saw. It seemed like every time it was reported by Texas Tech, it was something like Texas Tech goes down in the quarterfinal of the Big 12 tournament. Like, okay, you're making it sound a little. I don't know. It just that's what it was, but it just.
I mean, it's like the college football playoff. Like, yeah, we lost in quarterfinals, and we got there because we didn't play in the first round,
right?
Or in terms
first
of
2 rounds
of the basketball tournament, yeah, the first 2 rounds. But because of that loss and the trajectory, the slide that you've been on, Ken Palm knocked you back to 20th. Haslametrics has you at 22nd. Net rankings 19. AP top 25, they dropped you back to 20th. Arizona stayed at 2. Houston stayed at 5. Iowa State moved up to 6 from 7. Kansas dropped 14 to 17. From 14 to 17, Texas Tech at 20. It extends the record program 27 straight AP appearances, and that now completes the first ever full season that the Red Raiders were ranked, from preseason to heading into the dance, the big dance. So talk about first time to have a first team All-American and the first time you've been ranked preseason to March. Other Big 12 teams receiving votes still BYU and TCU, although they flip-flop from where they were when we gave that update last week. All right, so tournament. Your first game, you matched up with the 5 seed Iowa State, and it did not go well. You lost 75-53.
Pretty much the reverse of how it went in Ames. 75-53 makes it sound even closer than it was. I think it was what Tech was down by 20 pretty quickly after the first half, or I mean after the second half started.
Yeah, because it was.
I mean, they were putting in subs with like 8 minutes left.
Yeah, it was relatively close. For the first like 10 minutes, like I think Texas Tech actually got out to like a 7 or 9 point lead.
Oh, it was like 13-2 to start or something like that.
And yeah, you're like, oh my gosh, here we go.
After that.
Yeah, you're gonna jump on them, and we're just gonna, and then, man, I went ice cold from the field. They couldn't miss. It was just, yeah. Iowa State then turned around and lost to Arizona. Nothing that's a big, like a black eye, like, oh, you lost to Iowa State and they immediately lost. Well, they lost to the number 1 team in the conference, Arizona, who ended up winning the whole thing by 2. Arizona faced off against Houston, who knocked out Kansas by 22 points in their semifinal matchup. I guess that's the round. So Arizona, Houston, clear 1-2. Arizona ends up winning 79-74 to win the conference regular season, and in the tournament, they earned themselves a 1 seed. Following our discussion last week about the Big 12 players of the week, Big 12 players of the year, we had a lot of chance to hear other people's commentary on it. Pretty unanimous at like, why is Jaden Bradley on this list? So, 1, he's a good kid. He's a good kid, Michael. No, he's a great player. But the Big 12 is stacked, and it was just one of those head scratchers that got other people's attention too. So you finish the season and Big 12 tournament 22-10, 12-6. They don't count the loss in your conference record, but they do count it in your overall record. So, you are headed into the big tournament, the big dance, NCAA tournament. Came out that Texas Tech had earned or been named or was given the 5 seed, and they are matched up into the Midwest region. And that bracket has Iowa State in there with you as well on the 2 seed, on the 2 line for the Midwest. Let me scroll over because it's come on. No, I can't get over to the side. Okay, Chrome doesn't want to work for me. You're going to match up with Akron. And if we want to talk about the matchup real quick, or you want to look at the rest of the bracket, I hate this matchup, Michael.
Is it kind of like looking into a mirror? Except
a mirror now,
they're really streaky. Yeah. I mean, what Texas Tech is right now, but also what they're not, because they're streaky in the opposite way at this point, where Texas Tech is on an 0-3 run, and they're what?
They've won their last 10 and 19 of their last 20.
Right, and that gives me some confidence, thinking, okay, well, my little headline tonight was almost in the streak tonight, and it's so one of the 2 things are going to happen. Obviously, either Tech is going to end their losing streak, or Akron's going to end their winning streak. I I'm with you. They do concern me. I mean, they've got some guys that they shoot like 11 threes a game, which
They,
is
they make 11 threes a game.
oh, they make 11? Oh,
They make
great.
11 threes a game.
Yeah.
But they are.
I think that's something we've really shown that we can defend super well.
But that is the entirety of their offense. It's not like they have size where they're going to beat you down low or in the paint. They're a great shooting team. But it's not a team that you're like, man, we're gonna have to be super diligent on the glass and have to worry about 6'10" guys that can hit threes and all that nonsense that we were getting from the rest of the Big 12. They're hot. They can shoot the three. They're on an incredible 10-game streak. They went 29-5 throughout the season, 17-1 through the MAC. Then they won the MAC tournament. So in terms of like trajectories, who's got momentum, who's hot, like this is a tailor-made 12/5 upset in the making, in the brewing. Has the metrics, has this as a 10-point line in your favor, but if you watched either of these two teams lately, it's like I wouldn't have any confidence that that's going to be remotely how this game will play out. Oh, and I just closed the notes. It's fantastic. I don't have a roster breakdown for you for the Akron Zips. I don't have a here's what they do well. Here's what they here's where you can take advantage of them. I just know it's a 5-12 matchup. Those are one of the historically most ripe for upsets. And then I look at the direction of both these teams and it's like, I don't like it. I don't like anything about this.
Yep. And the only insight I have is Mr. Captain Obvious insight. You've got to stop Tavari Johnson. He's their scoring leader. 20 points per game, 5 assists per game. As a team, they shoot 38% from three. I mean, it's kind of like that Spider-Man meme a little bit right now, except as you've already pointed out, we're on the opposite end of fortune. So the only thing that does make me feel a little bit better is it's just hard to win 11 in a row, and especially when you're in the tournament and you're against possibly a different caliber of players that you've maybe seen in your last several games. Not a knock on the MAC. It's just kind of how things work sometimes when you go against these larger programs with a little bit more resources, whether it's fair or not. That's not up to us to decide. That's just the matter of how it is working. So I think Texas Tech has a chance, obviously, to win. I've seen a lot of people make predictions on Texas Tech has to make X percent from three to win. They have to do this, they have to do that, and I'm not seeing that that's incorrect. I mean, I really think a lot of Texas Tech's ability to win is completely dependent upon getting threes and not going to the basket for whatever reason, not drawing fouls, not getting free throws. Maybe that will change. Maybe that will be a new strategy this week. But it's just something we've seen, especially these last 3 games, where it's if you're shooting 25%, but you've shot 9 free throws for the night, maybe try something different. And maybe they will if that's the way this game starts to go.
Yeah.
So I'm a little excited, but not.
Yeah. So this game tips off 11:30 Friday morning in Tampa, Michael.
Yeah, home of the Midwest region. Yes.
I really have nothing to add besides nothing regionally makes sense with in the NCAA does.
I know it never did, but I just thought, man, if they're calling this the Midwest bracket, it's in the Sunshine State. Yeah. I think Spencer's got to be just like nails on a chalkboard over there.
Love it. No, I hate it. If you were to get past Akron, you've got the winner of Alabama Hofstra waiting for you. If it's Alabama, I just heard that one, they're going to be without one of their key players. And then they had one of those odd eligibility guys that played down from the NBA or from the G League or whatever it was for a few weeks. Then ultimately came back and said, no, he's not eligible. So they're without him. Not that he was like a huge, big time contributor for them, but got them. I have no idea about Hofstra. Other teams in the Midwest, obviously Michigan would be the one. They're facing off with Howard, who defeated UMBC earlier. Georgia St. Louis is the 8-9. Tennessee is waiting on the winner of Miami, Ohio, and SMU. That would be the 6-11 matchup. Virginia, Wright State, Kentucky, Santa Clara, Iowa State, Tennessee State, the 2-15. So you wouldn't see Iowa State until the Elite Eight if you were to make it that far. Arizona is the one out in the West. They have Long Island. BYU is the 6th seed on that bracket, or in that bracket. Nobody else of note, really, that I want to talk about over there. Then East, Duke is the 1 seed out East. You've got TCU as the 9 seed facing off with Ohio State, and Kansas as a 4 facing off with Cal Baptist. If TCU were to win, one, they'd get Duke in the second round. So they wouldn't really realistically have a shot to get to Kansas in the Sweet 16, but there's a potential matchup there. And then UCF snuck in. I say snuck in. They made it in as a 10 seed also in the East versus UCLA. If they were to win that, they'd get the winner of UConn Furman. And then finally in the South, you've got Houston out there as a 2 seed facing off with Idaho. Then they would get the winner of Texas A&M and St. Mary's in the second round to have the right to play one of North Carolina, VCU, Illinois, or Penn. So the one out there in the South is Florida. You putting together any brackets, Michael? In groups like that?
I don't think I am. I typically do, but this year I've just kind of elected not to. I'm just not feeling it. I don't know why. What about you?
We may do a family bracket, but we're not. I'm not going to get big into that.
I just don't feel like downloading the apps and whatnot. It's such a lazy thing.
Well, you got to get a couple apps so you can watch these games on your phone or have the CBS Sports thing. I love that the productivity, like when you're or the boss button, whatever they call it this year. Yeah. You got the game streaming. You click on that. It looks like you're working on a report of some kind,
spreadsheet or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I will blatantly have a laptop or a TV or something at the office on Friday. I'll probably be tuning into some of the games a little bit on Thursday, but not as blatantly as I will be on Friday, where it's going to be set up, volume up, playing, sitting opposite of my 2 normal screens.
Well,
I'll be very productive. It'll be fine.
You got to at least have the Texas Tech game up, right?
Oh yeah, that's it. That's the main thing. I feel like I'm owed that, and then I will go back to normal consumption of the tournament.
Well, yeah, I mean, like also because of the timing, the first half of that game could be your lunch break.
Yeah, so. I mean the majority. It was like the Iowa State game. It was really nice that I think that game was at 11, and my wife and I met at Buffalo Wild Wings for lunch that day, and so that was fun because we got to watch a decent amount of the game. Of course, it was right through halftime too, so we missed a good chunk. But unfortunately got to see the wheels start falling off in the second half before I went back to work.
What's your take on B-Dubs since their transition, their new ownership?
You know, we did not go forever, so it's probably not the best take. When Jurassic Park Rebirth came out, we went because it's basically in the same parking lot as Cinemark. For those of you who know, here in the hub city, and so we had tickets for that, and we thought, well, we just need to eat something, and that was what sounded the best, and it was closest. So we went then, and then we went Friday, and those are the first two times we've probably been in many years, and we both enjoyed it. Now I don't think we got wings either time, so grain of salt.
All right, what'd you get?
What that is? I had a buffalo chicken wrap, and then I think I may have had that the first time too. And I think
What's your go-to sauce?
I just like, okay, my go-to sauces for that, I stuck with what they had. The medium buffalo is a hit with me, but my go-to are Asian Zing and Caribbean jerk. I usually get, back in the day when me and my buddy the Ace Man would just hang out all day on Sunday and watch NFL at Buffalo at B-Dubs.
B-Dubs.
That was usually it. I'd get like six of one and six of the other.
Not half dozen?
To start. Well, that was back in the day when it was half dozen, and then they switched to 5. Aren't they like 5 and multiples of 5 now because they're Franken wings?
Maybe. And then I know if you go on Tuesdays and Thursdays, they used to do like buy one, get one or half off, or basically they would double it, whatever the number was. And then depending on which day it was traditional or boneless.
Well, the 2 times we've been in the last year, and probably not in the last 7 or 8 before that, have been good experiences.
Okay.
But we didn't get wings.
I probably have told the story a long time or a lot, but my freshman year of Texas Tech, some guys that were new friends of mine, guys I met at church, they introduced me to going down and holding down a table at B-Dubs for the Saturday night UFC fights and getting there like 4:00 in the afternoon and like pacing yourself. You get like, oh, let's just get drinks for the first little bit. And then we got like an order of fries or, round of appetizers, and then get some wings, and then kind of pace through like, so you got food kind of not constantly there, but like you're not just sitting there getting nonstop refills while you're just holding down a table for hours. So 1, my first introduction to B-Dubs. 2, first introduction to UFC fights. It was fantastic. I also loved their Southwest egg rolls back in the day, or their Southwest dippers, whatever they called it. Those are really good. Yeah. All right. Real quick, World Baseball Classic update. Venezuela did retake the lead. Top of the 8th. Top of the 9th to go up 3-2. Now bottom of the 9th with Schwarber batting. You got 3 outs, score at least 1, keep this game going. Texas Tech is now down 14-9. Was 11-9, now it's 14-9. All right.
They've been outscored 12-2 since the middle of the 5th. No, of the 4th.
That's good.
Oh, wait, they just scored again. Is that right? Oh, no, they're switching. Okay. Top of the 8th now.
Texas Tech up to bat.
Here we go.
All right.
Rally cap time. Game has been going for 3 hours and 25 minutes.
You want to give us an update on the Lady Raiders and their tournament path?
Yes. So the Lady Raiders, the women's tournament was announced a couple hours after the men's. They finished, of course, 25-7, 12-6 on the year. Ended the AP really didn't change from last week. No one played, but for some reason, West Virginia swapped with Ohio State. I'm not sure what happened there. West Virginia was 11 and they were 12, and Ohio State went from 11 to 12. So I'm not sure what happened. But anyway, that was the one change after a week of nobody playing. So LSU, I mentioned them. They're in the top 5 in the AP poll, and I mentioned them because that is where the Lady Raiders are headed. The way the women's tournament works, the top 16 seeds host the first weekend. So Baton Rouge will host the Lady Raiders, who will take on number 10 seed Villanova. Villanova is a 25-7 team, and they will play on the same day as the men. They will play Friday, but at night. So Friday the 20th, 7:30 on ESPNU. The women's tournament is pretty much broadcast all by ESPN in some form or fashion, and the men's, of course, is Turner's property for the most part, CBS, True TV, TBS, TNT, all that kind of good fun stuff. So if the Lady Raiders are able to make it past Villanova, they would then play Sunday versus the winner of LSU versus number 15 seed Jacksonville. So if they're able to win their first game, odds are they'll be playing LSU, who is the number 5 team in the country right now. So I've got some I don't know. I've just still got some bad taste in my mouth from that 21-0 awful meltdown in the Big 12 tournament, and I'm sure they do too. And that's by then that will have been over 2 weeks since that happened when they get to play again on Friday. And I'd imagine that they will hopefully exercise some demons there. Would love to see them get a win in the NCAA tournament. This is the first time in 13 years that they've been at all. But I will say if they do get past Villanova, it's going to be a tall order getting past LSU to advance any further. But hats off to the Lady Raiders. Historic season. Unfortunately, it's been too long, and hopefully they can finish strong, like I've pointed out down here in my little. There we go. Finish strong.
Finish strong. Quick update: United States down to their final out. Schwarber struck out. Gunnar Henderson pitch hit, popped up. Now you've got Gunnar Henderson. Sorry, Roman Anthony. Henderson was the last batter. With a 1-1 count. Needs to get on base. We need to get a runner across, keep the game going. You know what kind of irks me, and this is because we're losing more so than anything. Watching this Venezuelan team, and it's not just them, but like especially tonight, they were celebrating, like jumping over the rail, coming out to home plate when a guy hit a single. Like, guys, he hit a single on the top of the third inning, but they were jumping over the rail like it was some kind of big time score, home run or something impressive. It was like, this is just a routine single. Like, what are we doing? But I can say that because I'm salty, because at that time, United States was not hitting well. And right now, on their final strike, so we'll see how it plays out in just a second. But basketball tournament, man, it's here. Like I don't want to be like silver linings guy or like whatever, but when Toppin went down, expectations were kind of like, we'll just do what we can do, and it is what it is. You sustain a season altering injury to your lineup, top player on your roster,
To your first team All-American
first team All-American
in 100 plus years of school existence. But some people thought, oh, it'll be fine.
Especially when you won the first 3 games after he was gone.
Yeah, there was a lot of that. Never mind, Kansas State was 1-11 at the time.
Yeah,
in Big 12 play.
All right, USA lose. Again, because I'm salty, but like the pitcher struck out the dude and like dropped to his knees, was bawling. I was like, I mean, congratulations, you won the World Baseball Classic. And you did so by striking out 2 of the 3 guys you faced. But that seems like a bit of an overreaction.
Possibly.
The office. It's fine. I'm not in that position. Like I said, I'm salty. So just a little jealousy here. Okay, let's do lean into the stick ball here. Let's talk baseball and softball. We gave the World Baseball Classic update. Softball 27-2, 5-1 in conference play. They did drop a game this weekend, and man, you saw the Texas Tech haters coming out of the woodworks, Michael, on Friday night. Texas Tech loses 9-0 to Arizona, a top 15 team. And even if you didn't see it happening on Twitter, Michael, you could probably write the tweets yourself. Like, if you had no context, you could be like, yeah, probably you spent all this money, how embarrassing, Nyjah Kennedy, blah, blah, blah. And that's what you get. Literally every salty MFer from Texas, Oklahoma, UCLA, all of them, like whoever Texas Tech faced or took a transfer from or was comparing themselves to, pounced on Friday night. Like, oh my gosh, look how bad Texas Tech is. They lost 9-0 with this roster, with this bubble. You know what they did in response to that, Michael?
Quite a bit.
They run-rolled Arizona the next 2 games. 14-6 and 8-0.
Well, in that 14-6 game, I think Texas Tech spotted them like a 5-1 lead.
Yeah, so Arizona got up to a quick start, scored 2 in the first. Texas Tech had 1 of their own in the first. 3 more for Arizona, so there, yes, 5-1. Texas Tech took the lead, scored 5 runs in the bottom of the second, so went up 6-5. Arizona tied it at 6 in the third, but then Tech scored 8 unanswered. 5 in the fourth, 2 more in the fifth, and then 1 in the sixth to complete the run rule victory there. Tech hit 5 home runs on the day, including 2 from Caitlin Terry. She's got 5 herself on the season, 3 of which were in this weekend series versus Arizona. She did start, was the starting pitcher, but was responsible for all of 6 of the Arizona runs. Samantha Lincoln came in and relief, picked up the win. She went 2 1/3, gave up just 2 hits, but no runs, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. Because of the weather, those that are local to Lubbock know exactly what happened this weekend. They moved Sunday's game up to a Saturday afternoon. And Texas Tech came and just continued the beatdown and scored another 8 runs unanswered. So they rattled off 16 straight over 2 games of unanswered runs. They started scoring 3 in the bottom of the second, 2 more in the third, and 3 in the fourth. Caitlin Terry hit a 3-run bomb in the 4th. That brings her batting average on the season, Michael, to 574. Nyjah Kennedy started the 3rd game, bounced back. She went a complete game. Of course, it was just 5 innings. I say, of course, just 5. Complete game, 2 hits, no runs, no walks, 2 strikeouts on only 71 pitches. So
yeah, it was you already mentioned the 16-0 run, but it was overall an 18-1 run to finish the weekend after the bottom of the 2nd started in that 2nd game.
yeah, so Arizona comes in or leaves 1-2 on the weekend, 4-2 in Big 12 play at this point. You had 2 midweek games ahead of your weekend series in Florida. Both got canceled. Stetson and Florida State, Tuesday, Wednesday, they're in Florida, canceled. And then you've got a weekend in Orlando versus UCF, Friday at 5, Saturday at 4, Sunday at 11. Catch those games on ESPN Plus.
Yeah, and it looks like the Tarleton State game that was canceled for weather previously has been rescheduled for Wednesday, March 25th. So I think, yeah, looks like they are going to play that. And I can't remember the schedule. Maybe I would be surprised that was already on there because it's in Stephenville. So I doubt that. I think it's got to be a reschedule.
Their bus trip on the way back from Florida.
Yeah, just
go ahead and stop off.
Swing by Stephenville on the way.
Okay. Baseball, they had a weekend series. Well, they wrapped up their midweek versus UTSA last Tuesday. We talked about it. They ended up losing that one 9-8, bounced back on Wednesday, won that one 10-5. And they did that by scoring 7 runs in the 6th to swing that score from down 5-1 to up 8-5. And then held on, or you added 2 more runs to go up 10-5 there. Then this weekend, you took 2 of 3 from Kansas. You did play on Sunday, and the Kansas Bats took advantage of that one. They played in the wind, and they did some damage to you on Sunday. But Friday, you won 11-4. Saturday, 10-9. But then you end up losing in run rule fashion on Sunday, 18-7. Interesting decision to play on Sunday.
I agree. That was a really bad weather day.
I've seen like TikTok videos of like the dust storm from space. Our version of that, we got super high winds. Cold front that blew in, and then super high winds Sunday into Monday. Like it woke me up at 3:30 thinking things were blowing away, like we were in the opening scene of Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, in the span of I think 4 or 5 days, it's going to go from 27 to 97 here.
Yeah, I think I saw something similar to that with in the inverse. I think it was 90 something in Austin on Sunday, and then 40 something on Monday.
Yeah, I think we were in the 80s on Saturday, and then the cold front blew in Sunday and got down into the 20s Sunday night. And then the high was 45 on Monday. High was 70 something today, and I think the high will be 97 on Friday. It's fine. It's great. Springtime.
I don't miss the wild swings, and I don't miss the wind. Well, I said I don't miss the wind. We have wind here. It's not as high, and then our dust is more beach sand than red dirt, but we've got a little bit more of a insulator there with the humidity kind of holding things a little bit more stable. Let me go ahead and just punch the microphone.
Mm-hmm.
It says we got to 64 today. I don't think we did. 74 tomorrow. We peak at 84 on Saturday before coming back down for a little bit. All right, so you are in Dallas tonight. The baseball team is at Dallas Baptist. last we updated you, both teams have scored. It's now 16-10. You just gave up a 2-run home run. Love that. Yeah. DBU is always a tough out, even in Lubbock, but being on the road and this year's pitching is always a little dicey. And then this weekend, you were in Tucson for a weekend series versus Arizona. Catch those games on ESPN Plus. Yeah. There are some football things to talk about, Michael. Unless there's something else you want to touch on with baseball or softball.
I'm good.
All right. So we didn't mention it last week, but it's been spring football practice has started. It was started a week ago. Getting media availability, sound clips, quotes, and such from coaching staff, from players. It's hard to gauge the strategy of or where it came from, but that Brendan Sorsby quote about Micah Hudson looking phenomenal. It's like, man, was that kind of fed to him? Like, hey, go ahead and hype up Mr. Hudson here, or is that legitimate evaluation on his part, or is he just observant enough to know that like a lot of people want to see him do well, and he's just like, I'll give the people what they want.
Well, there's a little bit of film to back it up, but not a whole lot. I think I saw one pass to the end zone, but I wouldn't put it past Sorsby. I think he's pretty savvy, and he knows how to get some clicks and some play, and I would not put it past him one bit to be like, oh, okay, I think I should mention Hudson here. And he may have also been impressed by him, but I also think
a little bit of both. Yeah.
Even if he was impressed by him, he doesn't have to say something, but I think he knew it would be a good idea if he did.
Yeah.
Get some traction on the socials. That's all right.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. It's spring. Everyone's going to eat up every little quote and all that. I am interested to hear your take. I don't know if you've seen it yet, Michael, but some of the at least FanDuel has put out their preseason win total lines. Have you seen these?
I have not seen them. I did not know they were out already.
So I want to go through some of the Big 12. Well, FanDuel has their conference winners, the odds here. And Texas Tech is overwhelming favorite here at -115 to repeat. Utah is at second at +700, which I don't know so much about that one. BYU is at third at +750. And then there's a pretty big drop off. Houston at 4 at +1800. TCU at +2000. Baylor at +2200. Baylor. Initial thoughts or impressions there, Michael?
I'm surprised that I don't know. I am a hater, so here we go. Doubting BYU just seems dumb again. I mean, I'm not sure why they've continued to do that the last couple years and put Utah above them. Utah has a brand new coach, don't they?
Yep. Well,
the first time in 20 years they have a brand new coach. And they think, oh, they're just going to roll through the Big 12 like it's nothing and go second. Okay, we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
I don't have their schedule pulled up. It may be a difference in what their schedule looks like and who they get where and when. I do know our favorite podcast, we're talking about the non-conference scheduling again, Michael. and what the BYU schedule looks like. And they were very effusive in their praise and saying that BYU's got a good schedule this year. They mentioned Utah Tech and Notre Dame.
I mean, one of those things. It's hard to tell which one's which. Which carries more weight between those two? I wonder.
But between those two, BYU gets that's a good schedule, whereas Texas Tech has that's a laughable schedule. What are they doing? It's ridiculous.
We're winning football games. That's what we're doing. We
Well, I mean,
line them up and we play who comes to town. That's
to
what we
BYU's
do.
credit, they won every other game besides Texas Tech.
That's right.
And
they're getting picked third. The hell doesn't make sense to me. I kind of think I like that. I'd almost put Houston above Utah. I feel like TCU's in the right spot at 5th, I believe, or was it 6th? That sounds
TCU?
about right. Yeah.
Yeah. They were next after BYU or after Houston. So Houston was 4, then TCU's 5.
I could see BYU 2, Houston 3, and then Utah or TCU.
What about Oklahoma State, man?
What about them?
Who even knows?
No, nobody knows. I mean, they could be 2024 Indiana. We don't know, but I'm not going to be the one to say it.
I want to rattle off some of these Big 12 regular season win totals from FanDuel. You want to go top down or you want to go alphabetical?
Let's go top down. It's too hard for me to jump around.
All right. Texas Tech. I want you to guess this one, Michael.
Well, if they have us winning the Big 12, I'm going to say 10.5.
11.5. They are setting it up for everybody to hammer the under because, let's be honest, you have 12 different possible outcomes and only one of those is going to be like, if you were to pick the over, it's you're only one possibility for that to work.
Yeah, go undefeated.
Other ones to work. Yeah. Yeah, their line 11.5 for Texas Tech.
Wow.
Wild. At least to me.
To me too.
I don't disagree that like you've got a favorable schedule to do it. I would have thought it would have been like 9.5 or 10.5, but here we are. Okay, so second on that list was Utah. They are at 8.5.
Wow, 3 games back.
And so is BYU at 8.5. Now, they've got Utah over 8.5 at -144, whereas BYU 8.5 is at under is getting the majority there at -124. So I guess that's where they split the second, third.
Okay.
Taking the under on BYU means they're going to lose 3 conference games and probably Notre Dame. When, I don't know. I mean, I guess you can kind of squint and say, okay, well, they lost their top 3 receivers. It's kind of a big deal. They lost their defensive coordinator. They lost their all conference type of linebacking crew. Like you can kind of like see how that could be pieced together. And maybe 8.5, like good for second in the league, but that's wild to me. Houston 7.5. This feels like an easy over for me. Yeah,
I agree.
for what they've been doing and building, and 7.5 just feels awfully low. Arizona also at 7.5. Probably over, but like 8-4.
I might take the under on Arizona.
Whereas like with Houston, like, man, they're probably closer to like 9-3 than 7-5. Kansas State also at 7-5. Under.
Also, I agree.
Okay. TCU 6.5.
Over.
That one feels wrong. Baylor 6.5.
I'm trying to find. Didn't you make like a schedule matrix?
We
I can't find it.
not the full schedule yet, or maybe I did. Hold on. Let me go through the files here. The drive.
Yeah, but I don't think I want to be a hater and just say under on Baylor 6.5, but their schedule might give them an advantage that I'm not considering.
So Baylor has Auburn, Prairie View A&M, Louisiana Tech as their non-con,
They could win all three of those.
and they're all at home. Oh, sorry, Auburn's in Atlanta. Then they get Colorado, Arizona State, bye, TCU, Kansas, UCF, Iowa State, BYU, Texas Tech, Houston. Now,
Over.
when we did do the early projections here, I did circle some of their tough stretches. They've got a 3-game stretch. They've got 2 3-game stretches that could really swing this. Arizona State, TCU, Kansas, which for Baylor may be difficult. I wouldn't say that's for everybody. But then they end the season BYU, Texas Tech, Houston. That one's going to be tough. All right. Who else were you asking about? Houston?
Oh, that was it. We were just at Baylor.
Okay. It collapsed all of them. That's fantastic. You said Kansas State was 6.5. Sorry, 7.5.
Yeah, I want the under on that.
Arizona State 6.5.
Over.
So their non-conference is Morgan State, Texas A&M, and Hawaii. Not in consecutive weeks. They get Kansas in week 3 in London.
Oh,
But
what a
then they
weird
have
game. That sounds impossible to pick.
Then they have an off week. Then they host Baylor, Hawaii, Texas Tech, Kansas State, BYU. That's a tough stretch for them.
Okay, under.
Colorado, UCF, Oklahoma State, and then finish with Arizona. Cincinnati 5.5, Iowa State 5.5, Kansas 5.5, Oklahoma State 5.5, UCF 5.5,
Who knows
West Virginia 5.5.
with any of those? Who knows?
Yeah.
I could
So-
flip a coin on any of them. I could talk myself into either one.
Well, one, I want to get your opinions on, like, okay, at least FanDuel thinks it's going to be Texas Tech and then everybody else. It'll be
Wow.
a fight for second. Literally a 3-game gap between 1 and 2. 11.5. Like, I love the confidence boost there, but like that you're only setting up for disappointment for Texas Tech fans. Like, oh, we were supposed to win 12 games.
Right.
And like, okay, when you go under and win 11 games, like how mad are these people going to be?
You'd
And
be
then you've got
surprised. Actually, I don't think
BYU
you would
at
be
8.
surprised.
BYU at 8.5, which I thought was under or a little low, and then Houston at 7.5. All right. I want to get to what do we learn, so we got a couple of things here to knock out. Anything else football related before we mosey on over?
No,
All
let's
right.
do it.
All right. I don't know how much you're on TikTok, Michael, if at all.
No.
Then I'll be brief because I'm sure enough of our listeners would know about this. There is a current trend. It's probably wrapping up about now because that's how these things go on TikTok super fast. Of big names in pop culture from late 80s, 90s, and early 2000s doing like a slideshow throwback and it says POV, point of view. What were you like in the 90s? And it's playing, it's got Iris from Goo Goo Dolls playing. So it starts off with a shot, a selfie photo, or a short video of this person now, and then it goes back and does like a slideshow of like them and their roles or their highlights of their career from the 90s, and it's got like a stranglehold on us millennials. Like, this was my childhood. These are the people I grew up with. These are the people I idolized that shaped my youth. Got actors like Kevin Bacon and Kevin Costner, and singers like Randy Travis and the Goo Goo Dolls and Backstreet Boys and stuff like that. Like the cast from Sandlot all did it, which was crazy. There's a couple from oh my gosh, I'm blanking on this name. It's a kids movie with Alfalfa.
Oh, Little Rascals.
Little Rascals. Just stuff like that. And it's just like, some of it's funny. A lot of it's like really heavy and the nostalgia. Some is like really sad. Like, man, like it's just hard to look back and like this was my childhood. Like, we're all grown up now, we're adults, and everything is. I want to go back to the 90s. I want to go back to that time, and it's just it's eating at some of us older millennials with the nostalgia, Michael.
It's probably good I haven't seen it because I can get roped into that sort of thing really quickly. I think I saw a video on Facebook where Robert Earl Keen did it, but I didn't know it was a trendy thing. I didn't know it was like something other people were doing. I saw a lot of covers from him recently. I don't know if he had a birthday or what, but he was celebrated recently, and my algorithm picked up on that for me. So I did see that, but I didn't realize it was part of a much bigger trend.
There was one I saw. It was one I saw today. Was Randy Travis. I didn't know what his current state was.
Yeah.
So when I saw him, I was like, look, like it's one of those things where it's backwards, where you see them now and you don't recognize them so much, like because they've just been out of the spotlight for long enough, or they've had a lot of change physically. Haley Joel Osment was one that caught me off guard. Because one, you knew him as a child actor, and I didn't really follow him as he grew up. And I'm not like body shaming him, but he's put on some weight and looks nothing like his youth actor self.
Yeah, I don't look like I did when I was 11 either.
Yeah. So like when I saw Randy Travis, and I was like, who is that? Like, but then like there was a smile, like I recognize that face, and then it goes back to like the throwback pictures, like, oh, that just like
He had
man.
It was an awful stroke, I believe, wasn't it? Several years ago.
You would know better than I would.
He had something. And I may be completely wrong. I don't know if it's palsy or what it is exactly, but I believe it was a stroke, and he was no longer able to sing and communicate even, and I think he's gotten better, but will never be, what he will never be able to do what he was able to do prior to the incident, whatever it was.
So this happened in 2013. Suffered a near fatal stroke from viral cardiomyopathy and congestive heart failure.
That's even further back than I thought. I thought it was maybe 10 years ago. I didn't realize it was 2013.
Yeah. Left him with profound speech and physical limitations.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. If you haven't seen it, I'm sure it'll be on Facebook soon because that's about how these videos work.
Well, I've been talking about it, so probably the second I pick up my phone, it'll show up.
Yeah. So there are some where like, you're like, man, time has done them well. Samantha and I, she holds this opinion a lot stronger than I do, but like somebody like Kevin Bacon, you think is aged and matured well, like he looks better as a mature adult than much more than when he was younger. Keanu Reeves hasn't really changed much. His was one I saw a lot of. But then there are some you're like, man, there's like no telling who this person was. Amanda Bynes. Kel Mitchell was one that I saw today that was like it was one that like it hit hard. It was like, man, I don't know why this one kind of made me sad. He's doing well. It's not like whatever. It was like just look at all his roles and whatever from the 90s and he and Keenan. Anyways, so there's that. Do you want to go back and forth? You want me to do my other one real quick?
Yeah, let's go back and forth. So
Okay.
I just wanted to shout out to not a sponsor. The family and I, the three of us went
could be.
We went to Double Nickel this weekend here in Lubbock. My daughter, who's not really super fond about clothes shopping, but has gotten better about it. Anyway, her and her mom went to celebrate spring break and took the grandmothers, and they went shopping at the mall on Friday when school let out. And while they were there, my daughter picked out a really nice, pretty dress. And then she decided that I needed to take her and my wife out for a really nice dinner on Saturday. And I was like, okay, let's make this happen. So I mean, we did it right because she wanted to do it, and she wanted to dress up and wear a new dress, and she had this pretty bow, and she bought some clip-on earrings. She never really messed with those too much. And she showed some interest in getting her ears pierced, but it's just kind of hard to time it between sports because you can't leave them in. And even taking them out long enough to play, I've been told will sometimes mess it up or risk infection and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, so took the family, Double Nickel, had a wonderful evening, and just really enjoyed ourselves. Just forgot how nice it was there too. I mean, the food was excellent. We all really enjoyed our food, but the atmosphere is so great. It's darker, but not like pitch dark. It's quiet, but it's not so quiet that you can hear the tables around you talking, or you're worried that they can hear you. It's just the right amount of, man, I can. And this was a direct contrast. So we went to Texas Roadhouse last weekend. We had some gift cards from my mom for Christmas. And so we went there and we couldn't hear each other talk. Like my daughter kept trying to say something to us, and I was doing that thing where I was leaning down like, hey, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to say that again. And we did that. I don't know how many times we did that. And so we had that recent memory, and then we went to Double Nickel a week later, and we're like, man, that was nice. We just talked normal volume. And I mean, not that we don't like Texas Roadhouse, we surprised at how much we like it. But yeah, this was definitely a different experience. So that was a lot of fun. Still the best steakhouse in town. Don't let anybody tell you anything different. And a lot of it's because of what I just said right there, because you can actually hear the people at your table talking. Some of the other steakhouses in town that are on the south side of town, you might as well just be at Texas Roadhouse.
So I've never been to Double Nickel. Sorry, I've never eaten a Double Nickel. I've walked into there for something for work once. I was like delivering something. I couldn't even tell you in what capacity I was delivering something. I don't know if it was when I was helping out with my sister's flower shop. there in town, or if it was for something for Covenant. No, you know what? It was probably when I was working for Visit Lubbock. That had to be what it was. So that was 2015.
It was a while back.
And then the only other exposure I have to it, there was a former intern and then the girl I hired that reported to me at Covenant. She was a server for a little bit at Double Nickel. So she could tell you some fun stories about Lisa.
Oh, I'm sure. We enjoyed our fried cheese on the side, by the way.
Did
That
you
was
get
nice.
Bananas Foster? Supposedly they have a really good dessert.
No, we did the chocolate fudge cake
Mm.
that was topped with like caramel pecan drizzle with a scoop of vanilla ice cream too. My kid she ate. We had bacon wrapped shrimp. We did the whole thing. We had bacon wrapped shrimp, and then she had chicken breasts and French fries, and then I had a ribeye, and I cut
you
off
did.
like 3 or 4 pieces, small bites for my daughter, and then she later on was like, "Dad, I need some more of that." Like, okay, so I cut off. So anyway, I mean, she ate, man. She had 2 of those bacon wrapped shrimp, a good portion of her chicken, a good chunk of my steak. And then,
Yeah, she did.
and then probably at least a third of that giant piece of cake. So it was great.
So there's a steakhouse not far from us, kind of around the corner. I'm trying to gauge. I haven't been there yet. It's called Nico's, and it gives off the vibe of like a higher end steakhouse. I wouldn't say quite like a Double Nickel or a Las Brisas, but somewhere closer to that than like a Texas Roadhouse. I gotta go try. It's just, you know, where I it's hard for me to justify spending money on a steak where I feel like I could do it better at home and not have to deal with people.
Yeah.
I'm so peopled out most days. I was like, I don't want to deal with getting around other people. And when we're gonna go out to eat, we're gonna do something typically a little bit more like, I want to do something that we can't do at home. Like
Sure.
we found this this sushi buffet around the corner from us that is freaking tastic, and it's almost always empty. And the owners is like a husband wife couple that like legitimately seems so excited for any customer that comes in, and that sounds like they're struggling, but I think that's just like their personality. Like they run the restaurant. Like they make the sushi, they set it out, they serve you, and like their service is top notch. But we'll also say like it's not something we would do every night, because it's just like sushi is very one note in terms of texture, temperature, flavor profiles are pretty similar. So we like to mix things up and just do things we couldn't do at home. Steaks are kind of like, it's a hard time justifying a steak. Anyways, you mentioned spring break. It's spring break this week, last week, whenever it was for us here down in the Coastal Bend. It was last week. I know some people are probably on spring break now. I think we were early. You can definitely tell there are a lot of visitors to the area. And I don't know how far this news story has spread. Again, it kind of depends on if you're on TikTok a lot or X, or if you get your viral stuff from Facebook Reels when it hits there a week later. There was a string of incidents that's happened down here in mainly around the Port Aransas beaches. There was a fight that broke out that ended in gunfire. That sent a few individuals to the hospitals here. But I think one of the ones that has been catching a lot of media attention and viral coverage. There was a car accident on the main road that runs up and down the island that connects basically where you come over from Corpus onto the island and go up to Port Aransas. There was a Jeep that rear-ended a Tesla, and there was a individual from the Jeep that was ejected, and is hospitalized with some serious injuries, as you can expect when you get ejected from a rear-end collision on a highway. Michael, there are videos circulating of this individual where he was car surfing moments before the accident happened. He was on top of the Jeep on the highway doing dumb things. I think everybody in that Jeep was intoxicated. So just one, don't be stupid. But definitely don't drink and drive. That's the big point here. And you should probably wear a seatbelt regardless. I was actually out at Port Aransas on Friday doing we hosted a golf cart safety event for all the golf carts that ride up and down on the beach. A lot of people will use the golf cart to get to the beach. And like, well, that's a little extra iffy because now you're taking a vehicle that's, I think a lot of people don't really categorize it as a vehicle, and they treat it as a vehicle, but then they don't consider it a vehicle. Like, you're not wearing seatbelts, you're not enclosed in, these things aren't really made to sustain any kind of impact, but then you're driving around as if it's a car. And then for this accident to happen, I think it was Saturday. The fight that ended in gunshots happened on Friday. I was there Friday. Gunshot fight thing happened Friday night. And then this big accident, I think, happened on Saturday. So spring break down here has been a little wild, as you could probably expect. But don't drink and drive. That's just stupid. And don't get out of your car and car surf on a highway. Stupid. There are videos on that link, Michael, if you want to click on that and kind of scroll, of him doing that.
Oh my gosh.
So just,
Yeah, I forget you're in spring break destination territory there.
Luckily, I think most people are trying to head out to Port Aransas, which is, it's still Corpus Christi, but I think not a lot of people consider that Corpus Christi, because there is enough lodging and accommodations in and around Port Aransas that will host people. But yeah, no, it's definitely we've definitely noticed an increase in traffic and license plates from other states. I think in one stretch we saw Iowa, Indiana, Nebraska, and then a couple from the Northeast. I was like, what are y'all doing way down here? There are beaches closer. I could have gone to Florida. Would have been closer than coming all the way down to South Texas. But anyways, yeah, a little strange being on the destination. And even though I've been here 9 months, I've adopted the get out of here tourist. Get off my lawn. Because
didn't take long.
This is it's my town now, Michael. It's my beach.
Sure it is.
All right. What you got?
Okay, I've got on here on my notes I wrote new phone, who dis. So I finally did it. Almost 7 years to the day. I got a new phone.
Is it because you wanted to or had to?
I had to. Because I'm so curmudgeonly though. All I did today, it came in the mail today, and I went back and I backed up a lot of all the photos I'd taken on my phone. The first photo I took on the phone that I'm getting rid of was on March 14th, 2019. So there's evidence. So anyway, that was the first, probably the first day I had it. And then, so it wouldn't take a charge anymore. I think I've talked about this. I went with the Google Pixel because my wife has had really good luck with hers. She's really liked hers. And they had a heck of a sale recently, like $200 off for some color that nobody wanted, I guess. I don't care. I wrap it in a black case anyway. So anyway, I got it. I started setting it up tonight, but I have yet to transfer the SIM over because I just don't want to deal with it yet. Like Google makes it easier. I mean, I think it's got all the apps. I think most of my login info is there, but I opened enough apps earlier just connected to the Wi-Fi, and it was asking for passwords. And I was like, yeah, I don't have time for that. So I'm still using the old one probably until, I don't know, maybe tomorrow I'll actually switch it over. But I'm just not ready to let go yet. So I've got a brand new Google Pixel 10 or whatever charging in the kitchen, but I can't make any phone calls on it yet.
So
We'll get there eventually.
The Pixels have caught my eye for when I need to upgrade my phone. Because it's either going to be that or just go back to the Samsung Galaxy, whatever iteration is current at that point. I am on year 3 with my iPhone, which means it's basically useless at this point. I've talked about how like the charging port, it was one of the last phones with a lightning. That it's inoperable. I can't plug anything into that. Nothing works. It may have been from fall damage. Like there's no cracked glass or anything, but like fallen enough where that doesn't work. Bluetooth connection is just horrendous. It'll just drop randomly. I have to use a magnetic charger to charge it, which it's convenient because that's more universal.
But it's slow, right?
It's slower. It doesn't work in the car. So
nope.
if I have to be in a car for long periods of time, I have to go in with a full battery and be ready to put on a charger, or have one of the mobile magnetic chargers with me, which I have one. But we're getting about there. The problem was because these phones got so expensive and they were trying to make sure that nobody really felt the price increase. They changed the payment month terms to, it's either 30 months or 36 months, where it used to like you would upgrade your phone every 2 years, you paid off in 2 years. But now they're like, the phones are so expensive, and to kind of hide the fact they're more expensive, like, hey, you pay your phone off in 36 months. Well, that's stupid. So I still have probably a little bit of a balance left. I have to go back and check. Mentally, I'm ready to give it up. But definitely not 7 years old like yours. My work phone at Covenant probably was approaching being that old. And it was noticeable how bad some of the things were and how old it was. Like it still had a home button, an actual physical button. That's how old that phone was.
This thing still, I mean, it functions great. It's just, it doesn't hold a charge as well, and the charge port is loose, and it's tough to get it to charge. So that's really what boiled it down. Like you mentioned you can't charge yours in the car. Yeah, me neither. There's no way. The cord's not gonna stay put. But it's been a great phone. I mean, really looking at it this way, 7 years out of a phone, I can't really complain too much. I think it's probably the best phone I've ever had. At least based off that.
Checking the Verizon app. This has to be a new update. This device is 100% paid off.
There you go.
Which means my bill should be coming down. Don't know. I have an upgrade offer. If I were to trade this phone in at $830 off the iPhone 17. I don't want the iPhone 17.
I'm pretty excited about the Pixel, and I was going to go with a S24 and S25, but then after talking to my wife about it, she was just like, "Man, I think hers is a 9," and she's just really liked it, and has had no trouble with it, and it's really seamless with all the Google stuff that we do. And I started thinking about, man, I have so many apps on my Samsung phone that they will not let me uninstall them.
I hate that about Samsung.
Right.
That's
And
the biggest detractor. It's like you can't get rid of some of the bloatware.
And that was exactly why I thought, well, let me try something different. This will be the first non-Samsung phone I've had since my BlackBerry crapped out. So it's been a minute. I've been in the Samsung fam for a while, but at least 15 years, I'd guess. But it's just, I thought, well, I'll try the Pixel and see how this goes. And yeah, I look at all the apps. There's a bunch of Google apps on there that I probably will never use, but I can uninstall them. They don't, tell you can't do it. So it was crazy. My phone's so old. I had it on AT&T when I first got it, and I've been on Mint for the last 3 or 4 years. And so I have all these AT&T apps that were on there still, and Samsung apps, and like I even had like this Bleacher Report app that it wouldn't let me.
Bleacher
Report and CNN. Those were installed from the factory, and they've been on this phone for 7 years, and they would not let me.
It reminds me of the. I don't know if you knew this because it was an iPhone thing. There was an iPhone iteration that came out with like a U2 album loaded onto it. You couldn't get rid of.
Yeah, I remember there were so many people ticked off about that.
It's like, yeah, that's one of their.
But yeah, I had probably at least 15 or 20 apps on this thing that I just. The best I could do is force stop it or put it to sleep or whatever it was, but I could not remove it from the device. So once I started thinking about that and how much my wife was talking up her Pixel, I thought, well, shoot, I'll just give that a shot. And I wish I could give you a review because I've only had it for 3 hours and it's mostly just been on the charger updating and downloading apps that I now have to log into.
Well, Samantha won't let me immediately upgrade it. She's like, you don't want our bill to go down? I enjoy our bill being, my phone being paid off and us having a lower bill. So yeah, let me know your experience. That would definitely be one of the phones I would consider. So.
Oh yeah, I will, man.
I think that's plenty of non-sports talk. I think we've gone long enough. And what did we learn? Don't drink and drive. Double nickel still slaps. New phone. What was the first thing I brought up? It doesn't matter. I'll do it for us in every personal podcast. We'll be back to talk about the appearance for Tex Tech in the big dance. For Michael, I'm Spencer. We'll catch you guys next time.
Thank you for listening to the 23 Personnel Podcast. Help us out by subscribing, rating the show, and leaving a review. Follow us on Twitter at 23 Personnel, Spencer at Punt Suck, and Michael at Michael_LBK. Be sure to catch the next episode. And until then, guns up and let the tortillas fly.